Hi, this is Donna Lewis at the Clark County Park District, and today I am going to take you on a little tiny walk at one of our parks, George Rogers Clark Park here in Springfield, Ohio. It's one of our most popular parks where a lot of people come and hike with their dogs and their kids, and we have a lake to fish on. And so I'm going to talk about some of the critters that you can find this time of year if you're out taking a hike with your family. So there's a lot of great things to see here. Now, you see there's a lot of green behind me. Now, that is the honeysuckle. Not something we want you to see, but you're going to see it. It is an invasive, and you see it leafed out there in the background. That's the only thing that really has green leaves anymore is the honeysuckle. But we'll just pretend that's not there. We'll talk about some other things. So some of the things you're going to see or hear are a lot of songbirds. So this time of year, there's still birds migrating through. So some birds, like warblers and thrushes and a lot of other species will migrate up here for the spring and summer to breed and raise their young when the food is plentiful, and then they'll go back down south, like to South America or Central South America, to live for the winter season. So those are migratory birds, but a lot of birds you can still see in the winter season, the fall and winter season. So right now there's still going to be a little bit of migratory birds mixed in, but a lot of the birds that you're going to see right now are going to be in this wooded area, are going to be birds that live here all year. So one of the birds you're going to see or hear all year are woodpeckers. So we have several different species of woodpeckers in Ohio. We have the downies and the hairy woodpeckers, the red-bellied, the red-headed, and the pileated woodpecker. Also yellow-bellied sapsucker. So in this area, we see a lot of the red bellies. So they have red on their chest, a little red on their head, but not a full red head. So they're not the red-headed. And we get a lot of downies and hairy woodpeckers, which are smaller. And the pileated, we have about 2 nesting pairs here in the park. So right now in November, of course they're not going to be nesting, but you can still see evidence of them if you look on the trees. So if you guys can see that, there are holes in this tree, and those are made by the pileated woodpecker. And I hope I'm showing it okay. Kind of hard when I'm not right there with it. I'll try not to make you dizzy. But the pileated woodpecker, I heard one in the distance here just a minute ago. So I might not see it, but I know it's here because I can hear it. So a lot of times when you're out on a hike, you might not see species, but you'll hear them. So it's good to try to start to recognize the sounds if you're interested in birds, and then you can see what's around you even if you don't see it. So a lot of times we'll hear cardinals. Cardinals say all year long. They have a really loud sound to them. I'm not good at imitating bird sounds, so we'll still see our finches, our goldfinches, and our house finches. Blue jays do migrate a little bit, but we may see them in the winter. They don't migrate down as far, so they'll migrate to a little warmer climate. Your titmice and nuthatches and and a crow. I just heard a crow. So you'll see those still in the winter. So a lot of birds still stay here. So a good thing to do is to learn your bird sounds in the winter. You can get a lot of great video sounds, recorded sounds from Cornell Lab of Ornithology. So yeah, we have one of the largest crow roosts in Springfield, Ohio. So you can always see crows around here. Very intelligent bird. So a cool bird that you can probably see with your kids when you're on a hike, or if you're just out strolling with your husband or significant other, you can probably find those. So you just have to kind of open your ears, and if you cup your hands over your ears on both ears and go towards the sound, you can hear it better. Another bird is a chickadee. Chickadees are kind of the ones that warn other birds that there's people in the forest. Crows do the same thing. And chickadees like chickadee-dee-dee, and you'll hear those a lot. So of course they're being quiet right now, but the crow is helping me out. He is making some sounds. He must know I like crows, right? I don't know. So, oh yeah, he's right over me. So there's a couple of them. Turkey vultures will migrate as well. You're going to still see them a little bit this time of year, not as much as normal, but because they are going to move to a little warmer climate. So another thing you can see, squirrels. So have your kids look for squirrel nests, big balls of leaves in the tree. Squirrels will make these things called drays, and they'll nest in these drays, these but they look like just a massive ball of leaves up in the tree. Obviously, they're not just ball of leaves. They're made into a nest. So they will, they're not using them this time of year, but maybe if needed, maybe for some warmth. But that's one of the things they use to nest. They also use the holes in trees made by things like woodpeckers sometimes. So, and screech owls will use the old nests of woodpeckers as well. Owls aren't very good nest builders. They're still here in the winter as well. They're not really great nest builders, so a lot of times they'll take the nests, old nests of other birds, crows, woodpeckers, things like that. So that's another bird. Screech owls, great horned owls, you'll see them or maybe hear them. Sometimes you can, if you look, you might get lucky and see them up in a tree, but they're pretty good at camouflage, okay? So another bird you can see, but squirrels, back to squirrels. I get distracted. Squirrels are going to be getting ready for winter. They don't hibernate, but they might lay really low on really cold days when they can't find as much food. But at our feeders at the Davidson Interpretive Center, I have seen red squirrels burrowing in the snow, like moving under the snow to get to the feeders so they can hide till they get there, because they show up a lot on that snow. So they're pretty smart, and they were burrowing in the snow to get to the feeders. So it's really great if you can feed the birds this time of year, because some birds don't leave like we think they would, like robins. There'll be groups of robins that will stay, and they will change their diet when needed and eat food from your feeders. So when you're out here in the woods though, that's some of the birds you can find. You might even see some robins in a big group in an open area. Not so much in the wooded area in big groups, unless they're up in the trees. The squirrels might be scurrying around looking for food to store, or storing their food for the winter, okay, and looking for some to store for the winter. They've done a lot of that already, but they will be out here, out and about on the trees and on the forest floor. Chipmunks and voles and things like that, the little tiny animals you might see if you scare them out of an area, but most of the time they're hiding. They can see you, you can't see them. There's also coyotes, which are a natural part of our landscape, and they help us out by eating a lot of the smaller critters. Not usually your pets, okay? That's not their preference. They are looking for small things like insects even, much like fox do as well, but small rodents like voles, moles, little tiny things that they'll find scurrying around. So not normally gonna eat bigger stuff than that. Sometimes they will eat groundhogs as well. Now, groundhogs are really getting ready to hibernate for the winter. They'll come out if there's a nice day, but they are getting ready to lay low. You don't usually see them in the wooded areas. They're more in open grassy areas, the edge of farm fields, things like that. But you will see the squirrels, some other mammals sometimes scurrying, sometimes the deer. If you guys are quiet, so if you take your family out here and they're quiet, they can see more. I know that's tough, and especially when we're walking and we're crunching these leaves under our feet, right? So you can also find things under these leaves, all right? We leave the leaves on the forest floor, obviously, and we also leave our fallen trees and a lot of times our cut branches here. So if I can find one that I can lift up, if you look under old logs, even when it's cold, now maybe not in the dead of winter, but right now, you can still find insects under there. So a lot of these leaves on the forest floor, they're protecting a lot of the small insects under there, and some insects will go there to for protection, lay their eggs under the leaves. So the leaves are really important. Oh, here's a log. So one of the fun things you can do with your kids is look at the old logs. So this one has some mushrooms on it. I think it's turkey tail, I'm pretty sure. I do not know my fungus real well, but if you look under this bark, you might be able to find stuff. And oh, this is heavy. I have to get something easier. So if you look under the log sometimes, something that's a little more rotted, your kids can see some cool things like earthworms and pill bugs and spiders. So have them turn over some logs. Just make sure they put them back and they're not running on them and smashing what's underneath, all right? So that's some fun stuff they can look for. They can also look for different types of leaves. Have them collect leaves and then identify the leaves. There's oak and maples, ash, lots of different kinds of trees here at George Rogers Clark Park, native trees, and they can identify those leaves. So lots of different things you can do with your kids here. Also, sometimes that we do have geocaches here that people hide, so you can look for those and see if there's any on the trail. So lots of things to find. And if you go to the lake, you can fish at the lake. So you don't need a license to fish at the lake. So remember that. You can, hi. This is a camera. Yeah.
I thought it was some kind of a machinery.
Oh no. Have a good day, sir. So you can see a lot at the lake as well. So turtles, fish, things like that. But you're also welcome to fish here at the lake. So this is what we ask, that when you do come to the park, any one of our parks, George Rogers Clark or any of the other parks, that you respect the park and the people using the park around you. So be sure to take out what you bring in, so all of your trash, your bait containers and your bait at the lake. And if you walk your dog, please clean up after your dog. Another thing that's really important to remember, kids, remind your adults to drive slowly through the park and to adhere to the speed limit. We do have deer and other critters like turtles that cross the road. The turtles won't be so much here soon. They'll be hibernating, but it's really important to do that. So enjoy your time when you come here. Make sure you can get outside and enjoy the park. It's great weather out there today. Thanks a lot, guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.